So one day in your mid-20s, you walk past a mirror and you get a glance of yourself. Your eyes are covered in a plastic shield, your nose and your mouth are buried beneath a thick blue mask. You're wearing a gown that could fit 3 of you in it, and your hands and your feet are covered in plastic. You're just a pair of brown eyes peering out. You can't help but think, how did I get here? I didn't see it that day. In fact, I didn't see it for years. But what I was doing in that moment would change my life and the lives of so many others forever. So I'm a doctor of physical therapy. I spent several years and hundreds of thousands of dollars obtaining my fancy degree. People told me I'd made a safe career choice. I'd make great money, I'd have a nice work-life balance, and I would always have job security. That couldn't have been further from the truth. In April of 2020, I flat out lost my job. Gone, done, blink of an eye, fired. These were the early days of the pandemic. So despite amidst the chaos and the confusion of what would happen to the world as we know it, what did I do? Well, 1, I started making TikToks, and 2, I went straight into the eye of the storm. So I specialize in treating active adults with sports injuries. I decided to go work in a COVID unit with bed-bound nursing home patients. Not exactly my forte. But remember what I'm telling you today. When you say yes to something outside of your comfort zone, a whole world opens up to you. Because you can't always see how what you're doing now will help you end up where you want to be. So I signed a contract to work in this COVID unit, 90 hours a week. I signed the contract for 2 weeks. I ended up working there for 5 months, 21 days on, 3 days off. But the pay, let's just say they made it worth my while. So after wrapping up at the COVID unit, I was left at the big old question mark of what next? I was still jobless, I had no direction, but I did have a lot more money to my name. How could I use it the right way? So when I was job hunting, I started thinking to myself, did I really want to go back to my corporate physical therapy job? I started thinking about what my day-to-day life was like and what I really wanted out of my career, and the answer was not really. Although I was offered a lofty pay raise and a big promotion to return, I really started to realize at that moment how flawed corporate physical therapy really could be. So what did I do? I opened my own physical therapy clinic in this 200 square foot room with carpet. I just closed my eyes and opened up shop. It really wasn't that easy, but it sure as hell seems like it happened overnight. But I created a place that I would want to go to if I was a patient, a place where I could really spend time with my clients, a place where I could get to the root cause of their issues, and I could practice in the way that I wanted to practice. Though I was really passionate about what I was doing, of course I struggled at first, and things started off really slowly. So after Hurricane Ida in 2021, I was standing on my front porch, staring at the tree laying on my house, the gaping hole in my roof, and the many personal belongings that had just been ruined. This was 3 weeks after I decided to pull that trigger on my business. I noticed this man standing across the street from my house mowing a lawn, and I just thought to myself, I guess I'll go say hi to him because why not make a friend when my life just imploded right in front of my eyes? So we started talking back and forth. It turns out that he lived in Florida and he happened to own 5 of the 10 houses on my block. This man became such a cherished friend of mine. He came back and forth from Florida to Louisiana to see me as a client at my practice. He felt so drawn to my message on health and wellness that he introduced me to his mastermind group, a group of 300 men, all with a net worth over $1 million, who just so happened to be extremely interested in optimizing their physical performance. Crazy, right? Because you can't always see how what you're doing now will help you end up where you want to be. That mastermind group gave me my first opportunity to be a keynote speaker at one of their national conferences. It's probably why I'm standing here today. So, now for the juicy stuff. Here's how myself and my company have helped over 700 clients in the past 2.5 years. With no investors, no funding, and no real marketing department besides this chick right here. It's authenticity. It's authenticity in my thoughts, my interactions, and even my social media presence. I talk about the things I care about. I talk about the things that I didn't even realize were new and unique and interesting to people. You mean you guys didn't know that you could cure back pain with cold plunging, deadlifting, omega-3s, and red light? You have no idea what I'm talking about. Follow me on Instagram. You'll learn more. I talk about spending quality time with my clients. I talk about treating people as the unique individuals that they are. I talk about things that most physical therapists are not talking about. And I do happen to share personal details of my life that most professionals may not consider professional. This reminds me, I shared a story about my wild ride with a CBD suppository on my Instagram stories a couple of weeks ago. The crowd went wild, yeah. But the caveat, I have no expectations for anything I do or anything I say. I just let that authenticity flow. But here's the thing that I want you to know. If you are an entrepreneur and you are struggling to be more authentic, you are nervous and you are scared to be your truest self, authenticity looks different for everyone. It doesn't mean that you have to share the wild details of your personal health experiments on yourself with the world. I have a mentor who I know very few details about her personal life at all. She just sends me pictures of her chipmunk all the time. I think that's wildly authentic. Authenticity has been the cornerstone of my company, FunXional Physical Therapy's success. That and the fact that we have ditched the traditional physical therapy model of seeing our clients in the clinic 3 times a week. Who has time for that? Not any of you entrepreneurs here, I know that for sure. So back when I was on my own at first and I didn't have a headmaster to appease, aka a boss, I started talking about my experience with corporate physical therapy on the internet. I started talking about how bad the productivity standards had become, how overworked I felt, and how patients seemed like they had just turned into numbers. I really didn't realize how many people would agree with me and how many people had had experiences that made them feel like just a number. So by taking this root cause to injury rehab, we have quickly gained a massive following. I knew that I wouldn't practice the way that I used to practice in corporate physical therapy, but turns out that was really non-traditional. So what I learned from building my company is that you have to say yes. You have to do things just for the sake of doing them and expect nothing in return. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. You just might not see it or you might not feel it at the time. So give the free advice. Talk about your company to your neighbor's grandmother who's hard of hearing. Strike up the conversation with the person in line next to you at Jazz Fest. Expect the unexpected. Back when I was gowned and gloved and the world was falling apart, I had no idea that I would be speaking here today. I had no idea that I would be the one bringing so much humor into such serious health conversations. I take full responsibility for it. It's my job. So I had no clue about all the pivots and the twists and the turns that would shape my company or even create it at all. But embracing this unpredictability of life can not only define your entrepreneurial spirit, but it can teach you the invaluable lesson that success often comes with navigating the unexpected with resilience and an open mind. Thank you.